Hello guys, this is James Song here. Welcome back to my video. Today we have another edition of speaking section video covering question 3 of the speaking section in the TOEFL test prepared for you. So let's study together. As you know, question 3, we need to cover the reading passage in 45 seconds, and then the reading passage will disappear when you go to the real TOEFL test, and then listening passage will be played. You need to make good notes on that. And then we need to prepare in 30 seconds to answer the question in 60 seconds, right? So first step, we need to do the reading passage, okay? So today, unlike other videos, some videos, I do this. So today, I will actually demonstrate to you. I'll show you a demo of how I do the reading passage in 45 seconds in real time. So, hopefully it will be a good lesson for you to learn how you need to improve your skills to be able to read it all and make important notes of reading passage within 45 seconds. So without further ado, let's get started. Here we go. Okay, so this is how I did it in 45 seconds. So let's go through and match the notes to the reading passage sentence by sentence, and let's analyze how I did it, okay? How well I did it, or how good or bad these notes look to answer your question. Technology change, cultural lag. So we need to define what cultural lag is. That's our job. When we speak our answer in 60 seconds from the reading passage, we just need to give a definition what cultural lag is. So let's find it. Technological change occurs very rapidly in modern society, sometimes more rapidly than many people are prepared for. So technology change occurs really quickly, whether people are ready or not. So what is cultural lag? Next sentence. As a result, when new technology emerges, okay, technological change happens, people may struggle for a time to adapt to it. Okay, what is a cultural lag? So I haven't got it so far. This period of transition, okay, so this period from the previous sentence, when new technology emerge, people may struggle to adapt. So this period, when people are trying to adapt to the new technology, this period of transition to new technology or technological changes, okay? When people are adjusting to technological change, so it says it here, so I can just write this down, right? So this period of transition when people are adjusting to technological change is known as cultural lag. Bang, this sentence. Okay? So I could have written in brief notes, right? But, just wrote a little more words for you to help you understand better, right? So this period of transition when people are adjusting to new technological change is called cultural lag, right? Yeah. So we've done our job, done and dusted. And even if you didn't write down this part, it's okay. It helps you a lot if you write it down or even just read it or remember these two details, supporting details to the main idea, because basically a listening passage is describing these two details. That's what the listening passage will be about. So it's going to be super helpful for you. But just for the points covering the reading part, if you identify and able to say the main idea, one sentence that is main idea from the reading part, it will help you get the perfect score. Okay? So let's cover the details. At first, so during the cultural lag, at first, people are not accustomed to the new technology, meaning not used to it. You can paraphrase, of course. They are not used to it. It's very new, so they don't know, right? They are not accustomed to it and may not understand it. You know, same thing in this context. So therefore, have a negative attitude towards it. So that's first part of the detail. Okay, not accustomed to it. So they have a negative attitude about the new technology. They don't understand it. Okay, yeah. You could have paraphrased, just not used to, right? And don't know. So they have negative attitude about this new technology. However, over time, so after a while, however, their attitude changed to positive one, right? So over time, their attitude was negative. So attitude change. How? And they successfully incorporate here means like put in or integrate or mix, successfully incorporate the new technology into their daily lives, meaning they are able to successfully use it or become part of their daily lives, right? So I just said successfully use it. So their attitude changed to more positive. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a perfect job. So next part, listening.
Now listen to part of a lecture from a sociology class.
Now, the invention of the telephone was revolutionary. It was a much easier and faster way of communicating than anything else available at the time. However, when the telephone first became widely available towards the end of the 19th century, only businesses used telephones because businesses realized how the telephone could benefit them, how it could help them be more productive. But a lot of people in the general public didn't think the phone should be used for personal communication. Some people didn't like to listen to someone's voice without being able to see them. Also, a lot of people thought that it was rude to call someone on the telephone instead of visiting them in person. They missed the sense of personal connection they got from meeting someone. However, as we all know, people gradually changed their minds about the telephone. It took about 30 years, but eventually most homes came to have telephones, and everyone came to depend on them. Talking to someone you couldn't see began to seem more and more normal. Friends began to call each other just to chat, just for fun. And after everyone agreed on certain rules of politeness, such as not calling someone late at night, no one considered it rude anymore to make personal phone.
Okay, sorry, last half second has cut out. It's like a audio file problem. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just cuts out kind of last half seconds. I'm sorry. So it finishes, you know, nobody consider it rude anymore. Okay, so that's how it finishes. Okay, so let's look at the listening passage. So this is my kind of one sentence or two sentence introduction. And this is my body one. And this is my body two. And as I said, reading, it defines what it is, the cultural lag, to help you understand what cultural lag is. But the detail is, at first, they have negative attitude towards the new technology because they don't understand, they're not used to it, okay? And then over time, gradually, their attitude change because it becomes part of their life. It gets incorporated into their lives, right? Exactly the same, right? So reading is a very strong guide. So whether you can write the detail down or not, that's not important. Like, just write down the main idea to make sure, at least. But really read the detail and understand it and be ready. Like, think, okay, I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready for the listening passage. And think about the details here. And then listen to the listening passage and write notes. Will give you a different outcome. Will give you a much better outcome. Okay, right? Of course it will, right? So look, like at first, when it was probably from here, sorry. Here to here is my first body. Okay, so that's introduction. I don't need. So that's first body down to here, and that's the second body. That's how I would structure it. Okay. So when the telephone was first available to be able to use technological change, only businesses use them to increase their productivity. However, a lot of people, general public, didn't think it's suitable for personal communication. Why? Because they didn't like just listening to voices without seeing people's face. And some even consider it rude to just call someone without visiting them. So if you look at it, actually, these two are same thing. I'm not going to say it twice because I don't have time and it's the same thing, right? So basically, these two sentences are saying they didn't think it's appropriate, if you want to paraphrase, or they didn't like or even thought rude that calling someone and just listening to the voice without seeing them or visiting them or seeing their faces or meeting them in person, just say it once, right? Is not right, is rude, or they didn't like it. Yeah. So I would say for many people, people didn't like or even thought they were rude to just listen to people's voice without actually seeing them in person. I'll say something like that. Okay, so I've got this down, and this down. 3 sentences, right? I don't need to worry about this. Okay, it's not answering the question. Okay. Let's look at the question, actually. Let's read them out. Using the example of the telephone, explain the concept of cultural lag. So as I said, you don't have to define the cultural lag. So I might skip this time because you don't need to define it. You can, it's not a deduction, but you can still get the perfect score by just saying, so first sentence will be, professor in the lecture explains the concept of cultural lag by giving the example of the telephone. Giving an example of the telephone. That will be my first sentence. And then I'll jump straight to here. Okay. Invention of telephone was revolutionary, and when it first became available, only businesses used it. And you can take this out. You can say this, but I mean, who cares about the reason why they used it? We are explaining cultural lag. Our purpose to get the perfect score is explain the cultural lag. We don't really need to talk about how use of telephone for businesses increase productivity. You can say it, but if we don't have a lot of time, then I'll just say only businesses use them, because so from this is a really main part of the first main paragraph. This is just a condition, right? Why they had a negative attitude. They were not accustomed to it. So what kind of negative attitude they had to the new technology, right? Yeah. So a lot of people or general public did not think telephone should be used for personal communication, or, didn't think telephone should be used for personal communication, keyword, because they didn't like, or they thought rude, to just call someone and listen to their voice without actually meeting them in person. Okay, important detail. So first body done. Second body, see how close it resembles the reading? Yeah, it's just implying this part in an example. It's saying exactly this, 100%. So, however, over time, after about 30 years, people have changed, triangle, the symbol I use. So change their mind about telephone. So most homes and everyone start to use the telephones. Most homes came to have it at home, right? And everybody adapted well to use the telephone in their daily lives, right? And it became normal. So it's countering this part, how they didn't like listening to people's voice without actually meeting them as well at the same time. But it became kind of normal to just talk to people without actually seeing them. So that's what? Communicating, having conversations through telephone, right? Yeah. So, listen to people, talk to people, communicating personally without seeing them means using telephone, right? So using telephone became more normal, right? Became more and more normal. And if you don't have time, you can take this out, right? Right? It's not like major detail. It's a minor detail. It's an add-on, right? But I'm going to say they also not only didn't like it, but they thought it was rude. So I'm going to put one sentence in there if I have enough time at the end, right? And nobody thought rude to use telephone anymore, as long as you keep the basic rule of being polite. Yeah. And then, they give you more detail in listening, like, for example, or such as calling someone at night, late at night. But this is not a dictation, so I'm not going to actually say that, and I won't have time to say that. I only have 60 seconds. So let me demonstrate to you how I would prepare in 20 seconds. No, actually, it's a 30 seconds, isn't it? Let me change the clock. Sorry. I just paused the video and changed the clock. Sorry. Okay, so I'll prepare something like this. So cultural lag is period of transition when people are adjusting to new technological change. Telephone, when it first only business use. People, no, for personal communication, because no, don't just listen without seeing them. But they changed their mind over time. Homes and everyone uses it. It became more normal to use telephone. No problem. They changed their mind. Yeah, something like this. Okay. And then just, interpret as accurately and calmly as possible, sentence by sentence, okay, into a full sentence. Changing your notes into full sentence will give you the perfect answer that scores perfect scores. Okay, so yeah, let's go through the model answer. Here we go. Start speaking now. Beep. Cultural lag is the period of transition when people are adjusting to technological change. Professor in the lecture explains the concept of cultural lag by using the example of the telephone. When the telephone first became available, although it was revolutionary, only businesses used telephones. The general public thought the phone should not be used for personal communications because people didn't like or thought it was rude to call someone and just listen to their voice without actually seeing them in person. However, people gradually changed their minds about the telephone, and eventually most homes came to have telephones and everyone started to depend on them. Talking to someone you couldn't see became more normal, and no one considered it rude after everyone agreed on certain rules of politeness. Yeah, so obviously, it doesn't need to be word for word like this. It's my expression, way of expression from my notes. As long as no grammar mistakes and all the points, you have all the points I mentioned, main ideas and details, no grammar mistakes, contents are the same, and the structure, hopefully, like introduction, body, the structure is all the same, then obviously goes without saying, you also get the perfect score when this question comes in the TOEFL test. Okay, so that's it, guys, for the another question 3 done and dusted in speaking section. So thank you very much for watching this video and studying with me. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.